Hi, welcome back to Michelle Corbin Design. I'm Michelle and I'm a free motion embroidery and mixed media artist from the northeast of England. In my last video, I shared with you how to set up your domestic sewing machine for free motion embroidery. And today I'm going to recap that and also show you an alternative method. Okay, so here we are at the sewing machine and I've taken off my regular foot so that I can prepare the machine. So first of all, we're going to tackle the feed dogs, which are these here. So these are the feed dogs, just here, these little teeth. And these teeth help to guide your fabric forwards and backwards when you're stitching regularly. We're going to cover them completely or drop them. So if your machine doesn't have the facility to drop the feed dogs, which means get rid of these and make them lower, you may have come across one of these little plates in your sewing kit that came with your sewing machine. If you haven't, you can certainly buy them online. And it has two little notches at the back here, and those just go into these little holes here. So if I can just move up the way, so these little holes here are where those notches go. This one doesn't actually go on my sewing machine, this one's for my daughter's sewing machine. But what you would do is you would place that into your machine and then it would cover the feed dogs and you're good to sew. The only downside with this is, if you can see, it is raised. Now it would be slightly lower on a machine that it fits, but like I say, this one doesn't actually fit my sewing machine. Once it's on, it does have a slightly raised bed, so you may have problems while you're stitching. But some people get away with it really well, other people aren't so keen. So just take a look and see. But what you will notice is it does have a little slot here, which is obviously where your needle goes, and it's big enough for it to go zigzag also. But what I like to do is drop my feed dogs. Now what you might find is that your sewing machine has your feed dog drop down facility, the switch. That will be either at the front, the back or the side. Mine is actually at the back, so I shall show you that now. So my little switch is here. And what I do is I just slide it across, and I'm not sure if you saw, but those feed dogs disappeared. So I shall do that again. When you re-engage them, you click the button and then you will see that they haven't come back up. But all you need to do is wind your flywheel and they re-engage. Once I hit my little switch to the left there, they disappeared, and then I shall re-engage by clicking the button again and moving the flywheel, and they come back up again. So now I'm ready to do regular sewing again. But I actually want free motion embroidery, so we're going to click them down and they're gone. So for me, that is the most idyllic way of doing free motion embroidery. It's easier, so if your sewing machine has that facility, I would highly recommend you use it. The next thing we need to do is put on our darning foot, which is this one here. So we're going to pop this in here. So this little bit here is like a little hug, and it has to hook around this bar here and just through this screw here. But this little bar here sits above this little area here. So this little bar here has to sit over there. So I hook it over there and I bring it into there, and then I tighten the screw. And I always use a screwdriver just to make sure that it's set in place nice and neatly. And I would advise an embroidery sewing needle if possible, but a universal sewing needle can actually work too. I also like to have a nice flat table, I wasn't able to purchase the actual table that came with my sewing machine 16 years ago, so my husband kindly made me one. It's not perfect, but it does me really well. It's done the job for me, and I've really enjoyed working on this surface. And a flat surface is always better, especially if you're using a hoop, because it can kind of wobble a little bit, so I hope that helps as well.